what's better than a good story? About a good story with a little bit of murder. The Dungeons and Chains series takes you back to the Dark Ages, where life was rough and justice was even worse. But hey, who needs justice when there's revenge? That's what our protagonist is all about. After being falsely accused and imprisoned for his father's crime, our hero makes a daring escape only to find himself framed for yet another crime. Talk about bad luck. But when he crosses paths with a band of merry adventurers, he might just have a chance to turn the tables and become the one delivering the justice. Or maybe not. Either way, it'll be one hell of a ride. So grab your swords and shields, fellow adventurers, because we're about to embark on a tale filled with intrigue, betrayal, and enough backstabbing to make you question who's really behind the throne. The year is 879 AD, and England has been a nightmare for most people for the last few decades. Viking raids are constant, and overlords are rarely competent. In fact, they're often power-hungry tyrants like Ethelstan, the Earl of Mercia. At least, that's what everyone calls him. The real name of this bastard is Wulfstan, but he changed it after killing his cousin and taking the throne from him. Now he rules like a god over his people, which pisses off Leofric, a member of the royal family with the legit claim to the throne, so he raises an army to depose Wulfstan and take back what's rightfully his. And as the nobility of Mercia swear loyalty to the rightful heir, or the usurper, one man finds himself caught in the middle. Sarik is a young blacksmith known throughout the land for his skill and honor. He also happens to be the son of Beorn, a man wrongly convicted for the murder of Ethelstan's wife. As punishment, both parents were executed and young Sarik was sent to live with his uncle, a priest. But despite living under the shadow of his father's supposed crimes, Sarik has managed to forge a good name for himself. That is until the first episode, when Leofric's men storm the village looking for supplies and weapons. But when they hear that Syriac is the son of the infamous killer of Queen Edith, they take him hostage. They want to use him as leverage to force Ethelstan to come out and face his music. And while Sarik's uncle pleads for his life, claiming the accusations are false, the men don't care. They drag Sarik away, and the old priest watches them go. Meanwhile, the blacksmith struggles against his bonds, but to no avail. Soon he's locked up and left alone in a dark room. Then suddenly, boom, the door bursts open and some bad guys attack. Fortunately, Sarik manages to hold his own, but he's clearly outnumbered. And just when things seem to be going badly, bam, a new character appears and saves the day. If you've watched any of our other videos, you know how this goes down. Our hero escapes, regrouping later with the mysterious savior and a few new allies. Together, they set out to clear Sarik's father's name by finding the real culprit, which just so happens to be Ethelstan himself. And as the group travels across the countryside, they encounter all sorts of interesting characters. There's Finan, a young warrior who joins them to atone for his sins. Rosamund, a former noblewoman turned outlaw seeking revenge for her family's honor. Agoda, a shield maiden with a mysterious past. And Cyrus, a traveling merchant with more money than sense. Plus a whole host of villains who want Sarik dead, including Ethelstan's men, an entire clan of bloodthirsty Vikings, and even a couple of corrupt priests. To be honest, it feels a bit like watching Game of Thrones without all the dragons. There's plenty of action, intrigue, and political maneuvering, plus a generous helping of gratuitous violence. And while it's clear that the show is based on historical events and figures, it's also clear that it takes some creative liberties. For example, the character of Ethelstan is loosely based on the real-life King Ethelstan of England, who was actually a great leader and warrior, not a power-hungry tyrant. But then again, this is a work of fiction, not a history lesson. And besides, it wouldn't be much of a story if everything were nice and straightforward, right? So while you shouldn't expect perfect historical accuracy, what you can expect is a fast-paced, exciting adventure with a diverse cast of characters and plenty of plot twists to keep you guessing. Plus, it's just plain fun to watch. The fight scenes are well choreographed and the dialogue is witty and often hilarious. The show doesn't take itself too seriously, and it's all the better for it. It's easy to get swept up in the story and root for the characters, even when they make questionable decisions. And there are plenty of moments that will make you laugh out loud. But let's be real here. Most of us are watching this show for one reason, and one reason only: to see people get their heads chopped off. And on that front, Dungeons & Dragons does not disappoint. There are plenty of brutal and bloody scenes that will make you wince, but they're never gratuitous. Each death is earned and serves to advance the plot or develop the characters. Plus, it's always satisfying to see the bad guys get their comeuppance. However, if you're easily offended by violence or gore, this show is not for you. You might want to stick to something a little lighter, like knitting or watching paint dry. But for the rest of us, it's just another Tuesday night. Look, we all know what we're here for. We love watching this show for the same reason we love playing Dungeons & Dragons in the first place. Because deep down inside, we all just a bunch of nerds with a penchant for the dramatic and a fascination with all things dark and dangerous. Don't try to deny it. You know you love it. While you may not admit it to your friends or family, we do. Here's to many more seasons of Dungeons & Dragons, and may the odds be ever in your favor. Oh, and one more thing. If you want to show your support for the channel and get some pretty awesome perks in return, consider becoming a patron. You'll get access to exclusive content, including behind-the-scenes footage, early episode releases, and even the chance to appear in one of our videos, not to mention the warm, fuzzy feeling you will get knowing that you're helping us produce the content that our audience loves. Now, before we wrap things up, we'd love to hear your thoughts on Dungeons & Dragons. What do you think of the show? Which character is your favorite? And what do you think happens next? Let us know in the comments below. Also, please don't forget to like and subscribe because we have lots more videos coming your way. Till then, stay safe, stay nerdy, and we'll catch you in the next one.